Good morning. I'm Scott Bowen, a national volunteer with IASA and a current member of IASA's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee's mission is to cultivate a culture of awareness that promotes diversity and inclusion within the insurance industry and within IASA's leadership and membership. Today, I've got the privilege of speaking with Tommy Moody of Prudential Insurance, an active member company of IASA. Tommy is a board member of Pride, Prudential's LGBTQ+ business resource group, and the co-leader of Culture and Engagement. We've asked Tommy to share with us information about Prudential's Pride group, his involvement with the organization, and his thoughts on the importance of inclusion at a company such as Prudential. Welcome, Tommy. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your personal journey.
Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate you and the IASA for taking the time to talk with me. I actually began with Prudential back in '96, almost 25 years ago, if you can believe that. I'm currently working as a project management analyst in our chief data office as part of global technology. Prudential's been my first call center job. I was very naive to corporate culture and wasn't fully out yet as a gay man. During my new hire orientation, though, I noticed some wording in our benefits package that referenced domestic partner benefits. I was really excited to see that because I felt it was an example of how inclusive Prudential was as a company and somewhat progressive for a company as large as Prudential back in the '90s. Soon after training, I started making friends with some of my teammates and colleagues, and it was really nice because they recognized that I was gay before I did, which made things so much easier. They started inviting me to get-togethers and events where I would feel safe and comfortable being myself and being open. And what I didn't realize at the time is they were really paving the way for me to feel comfortable, not only outside of work, but at work, to be my true self and to come out when I was ready. They really helped me see the caliber of employee that Prudential was investing in. And it was that group of friends who helped me in the coming out process. So I really look back and I'm appreciative. I'm still friends with some of those folks today.
So how long has Prudential had a Pride organization, and how did you initially get involved?
Great question, Scott. Pride was actually the first business resource group that Prudential started back in '93, but I didn't get started with that group until '99, which reminds me of a funny story. I remember one day coming back from break, and I was approached very aggressively and grabbed by the arm by another member of another team. I knew her, but I didn't know her personally. She wasn't, a friend yet or anything like that. And we ducked into a break room because she grabbed me by the arm and told me she needed to talk with me. And I'm like, okay. So we got in the room and not asking, but more telling, "You're gay, right?" Now, again, I wasn't fully out yet at work. I didn't know this person. And she's also someone that I would consider a close talker, which is someone who gets in your personal bubble when they talk to you. And once I kind of just nodded yes, still in shock that she had grabbed me by the arm and pulled me in the break room, she's like, "I have someone I want you to meet." So she took me to another floor and introduced me to a gentleman who I found out was the leader of the Jacksonville chapter of our Pride organization. And for a few minutes, they explained to me what the organization was about. And being new to the company, I was hesitant at first, but I said, why not? So I decided to get involved, and they explained to me more about what they were trying to do with the organization. I found out it was a national organization, and really never looked back. There's been so much personal and professional development as being part of the Pride organization as both a member and a leader. I look back on that experience with her that day and recognize how important it was that happened when it did, because I could never thank her enough for the growth that I've experienced and the opportunities that Pride has presented with me. And it also makes me super proud to be an employee of Prudential.
What was the initial goal of Pride, and how has it evolved, and maybe share an example of how it's grown?
Sure. Our goal has always been to foster a work environment that is completely LGBTQ+ and ally inclusive. It is meant to be a community where all employees feel safe and can develop professionally and personally while positively impacting business outcomes. This requires us to continue building equality, inclusion, and advancement of LGBTQ plus employees and our community. As far as evolution, Pride has been kind of slow to gain momentum, especially at first. In the early years, the other two individuals I mentioned earlier in our conversation had moved on to other opportunities. And some years it was just me kind of running the organization here in Jacksonville. But also recognizing that as a national organization, I had support in other sites. Over the years, though, it grew. And an example of this growth was our ally program. The reason we were kind of slow and growing initially was I found out that a lot of the colleagues I had that wanted to be part of the group were afraid of being labeled as part of the LGBTQ plus community, which I guess being part of the community myself, I didn't see it as a big deal, but some people did. So we introduced what we now call the ally program. And what that is usually is someone who identifies as heterosexual, but they still want to be part of the group and have fun and be supportive and just be part of the organization, because we welcome everyone, and that's what it's all about. So after that ally program was introduced, we really started to see growth and momentum pick up, especially in recent years. An example that I'd like to share is one I'm really proud of, and that is Prudential's participation in our Pride parades. As you may know, Prudential has been a corporate sponsor of many external Pride events throughout the nation. And what that usually includes is some sort of festival or picnic or parade or all of the above. But what we would do here locally in Jacksonville was we would have a festival and we would have a parade. We would always be part of the festival, but never the parade. So I kept asking why. Well, once I was a leader here in the site, I partnered with our site champions to ask why. So in 2015, I decided it's time. It's time for us to march in a parade. So we went through and found the proper channels. Some examples are legal, human resources, and marketing, and found out that the main reason that we kept getting no's was the concern of visibility. They were concerned we would not get a large enough visual representation of our membership to adequately represent a company as large as Prudential marching in a parade. So they gave us a number, and we ended up not only doubling, but close to tripling the number that they wanted to take part in the parade. So we got the approvals, we marched in the parade. It's one of my proudest moments of Pride and Prudential. And I look back on it and I'm so glad that I took ownership of that and really put my all into making it happen, because that not only helped Jacksonville march in their parade, but it also influenced other sites to be able to participate in their parades as well.
That sounds like a great achievement, something to be proud of.
Thank you very much.
So why do you think it's important for a company such as Prudential to have an LGBTQ plus Pride group?
Thank you, Scott. I think it's important for companies to not only commit to having an inclusive culture as lip service, but also take the real action that it requires to make it happen. Our goal at Prudential is to be a role model as a fully inclusive company. I'll say that again. Our goal at Prudential is to be a role model as a fully inclusive company. We demonstrate our commitment by supporting our communities and leveling the playing field so that all people can achieve financial wellness and security. And to do that, we bring all our assets to the table, including our products and services, philanthropy, impact investing, advocacy, and more. An example of this is when Prudential enabled HIV positive individuals to get underwritten for life insurance products. For many, many years, someone who was diagnosed with HIV could not get life insurance. It was deemed too much of a risk. And Prudential really paved the way in the industry by getting this process approved and enabling someone who was HIV positive to get life insurance, which I think is a huge step forward for the community as well as the company. Our organizational goals are about involvement, education, awareness, support, mentorship, as well as talent retention and acquisition. We partner with external organizations like the Human Rights Campaign, Out and Equal, and a group I learned about recently called RAMBA, which is somewhat of an acronym. It's reaching out, and it's for individuals who have earned or will earn their Master's of Business Administration or MBA. Really want to make sure that we're getting out there in the community and not only attracting the talent that's LGBTQ+, but also retaining that talent. Involvements like these are crucial to enabling everyone to bring their authentic selves to work. Prudential recognizes this as the only way to operate as we are more comfortable and become stronger assets to the organization. There are countless companies who don't support these types of initiatives, so I continue to be extremely proud to work for Prudential.
So I have to ask, how is your organization celebrating Pride Month this year?
Well, Scott, as you can imagine, the pandemic and COVID over the last couple of years has kind of dampened a lot of our external endeavors and sponsorships, but we have managed to do some really fun collaborative events virtually, both last year and it'll be virtual again this year. So some examples of that include an LGBTQ+ student college fair. We're going to have an opportunity to view a film called Cured and do a discussion with some of the filmmakers. And my personal favorite, which is our second time doing it, is going to be Drag Bingo to kind of help close out the month. I'm really looking forward to that.
That does sound fun.
It's going to be a great time.
What does the future hold for your group?
Hopefully we continue to make progress towards our value proposition of becoming a fully inclusive company. Our approach for doing so is three-pronged. It includes business, talent, and culture, all of which are meant to increase awareness of our internal and external LGBTQ+ issues, engaging, retaining LGBTQ associates, and serve as a resource for LGBTQ+ members, as well as supporting financial wellness and leveraging Pride members to assist with market expansion and product expansion. Our chairman has added this to a short list of key priorities for the business. In the immediate future, we're continuing to focus on both our pronoun initiatives and our Count Me In campaign. The pronoun initiative was introduced last year. As you can notice at the bottom left of my screen, I've included my preferred pronouns. And what the company did enterprise-wide is make it voluntary for anyone who wants to include their preferred pronouns in their email signatures so that there's more inclusivity and awareness. And that leads me kind of into the Count Me In campaign. As all of us have done, we've filled out forms at the doctor's office or applying for a job where there are only two options, male or female. Well, as we know with the LGBTQ+ community, there are way more identifiers than just male or female. So Prudential built out our process. So now employees can voluntarily self-identify their gender identity, their sexual orientation, race, and however they want to identify, veteran status, and so forth. And just having that opportunity as an employee means so much and is moving us towards being that fully inclusive company.
In closing, do you have any final thoughts to help create a more inclusive culture in the workplace?
Sure. The main thing that I've seen have the most impact is visibility and support of senior and executive leaders. Over the years, I've really seen increased participation, increased support, and increased proactivity when it comes to the support of our Pride Business Resource Group, as well as other business resource groups. It's one thing for them to say that they support, but then for them to take action and actually take part in events and support organizations and provide corporate sponsorship, it means the world. And it's that advice that I would share, because it not only shows that Prudential cares, but it also helps us want to bring 110% of ourselves to work, because not only do we know that we're safe and included and counted, but it also means that our senior and executive leadership team has our backs. And an example is my opportunity to get to talk with you today. When I sought approval to have this conversation, my leadership team was not only supportive, but they were truly excited and have followed up with me frequently to see how things were going. So I'm really proud to be part of Prudential. I'm really proud to be part of our Pride organization, and it's been truly exciting getting to meet and talk with you today.
Hey, well, Tommy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today and being a spokesperson for the community. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you, and I only wish success for you and for Prudential's Pride organization in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited for us to continue our partnership with the IASA. I wish you all the success as well, and hopefully we'll get to chat again soon. And happy Pride.
Happy Pride, Tommy.
You take care.